Thank you. George Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome this debate, and it's a pleasure to follow the honourable gentleman and all of those who've spoken today in this spirit of cross-party urgency. Welcome the chance to highlight the importance of this issue at the heart of this government and of the urgency of us all working together across party, across generations and across these houses in the interests of the next generation who in much of our other politics feel pretty dispossessed at the moment. Secondly, to highlight the importance of innovation and science and good business, and to insist that we don't pursue this in a spirit of anti-business, but harnessing the power of the market to help us solve these problems. And thirdly, and I say this not in any spirit of partisanship, but merely to contribute to the debate going on this side of the House for the heart and soul of conservatism, a debate similar to that going on the other side of the House, to insist that good environmental stewardship and good environmental policy is absolutely central to good one nation conservatism. Mr. Speaker, I was lucky enough to have had a career in the field of science and innovation, founding and financing companies with incredibly exciting solutions to some of the great grand challenges we face, mainly in the field of medical, clean tech and agri-tech, before coming to this House. And as an MP, I've been lucky enough to work at the Department of Climate Change and as Minister for Life Science. And I think it's important that we all agree that there is an environmental emergency in the world. And it is important that we don't disagree about that this afternoon and we send a message that we get it. But I think it is important that we also admit that it is actually very complex. And I would suggest, not least because the great David Attenborough himself put it to me, that we should be rather more worried about biodiversity and the damage to habitats around the world, every bit as much as the impact of climate change and the importance of mitigating climate change. And the truth is, this is a problem that's being driven across the world by massive industrialisation, deforestation, urbanisation, phenomenons which, for those who are seeing their life chances transformed by the agricultural and industrial revolutions that are driving those changes, do not want to see us in the West hold back their prosperity, but to reach out and help them deliver a model of clean, green growth. And I absolutely agree with those who suggested this should be also at the heart of our DFID strategy. And I'd like us to see a much more muscular alignment of our aid, our trade and our security, including our biosecurity, because fundamentally economic resilience is key to prosperity around the world. Second point, Mr. Speaker, science and innovation. I want to pay tribute to some of those who haven't just jumped on a bandwagon but have spent their careers in science trying to develop the science behind this important debate. Those are the British Antarctic Survey. Those scientists I've been lucky enough to meet and work with at Cambridge, at UEA. Those who've been working on battery technology, which holds the key to us really unlocking the power of electricity and electric sustainable power. Those in agri-tech, and I was lucky enough to launch the agri-tech strategy, incredible work going on to reduce plastics, water and soil impact in modern farming. Those in the automotive and aerospace industries. I recently visited Lotus in Norfolk, who've developed a Formula One car powered by biofuel made by genetically modified bugs breaking down agricultural waste. This is great science holding great potential for our green economy. And indeed the aerospace industry is embarked at the moment on taking 400 million tonnes of CO2 out of its footprint. Let us not criticise those who are on the cutting edge of trying to develop the technologies. Let us neither be complacent. And thirdly, Mr. Speaker, on this party's track record and legacy, can I support the Secretary of State in his work and remind he and my colleagues on this side that it was this party that led the first Clean Air Acts. It was this party's leader in Lady Thatcher who first put this challenge on the global agenda of global leaders. It was this party who, through its values of stewardship, conservation, incentives, responsibility, it's this party's belief in prosperity, in giving and taking responsibility, in the mutuality, in harnessing rewards and incentives to use the market to drive an economics of shared values as much as share value. This party does understand how we achieve green growth. And I have to say, at the risk of going all Monty Python on you, Mr. Speaker, what have the Conservatives ever done for the environment? This year, we've reached a high in renewable energy. We're reducing emissions faster than any G20 nation. We've put $92 billion into clean energy and created 400,000 jobs. I don't mean to be complacent for a moment, but let us inspire the next generation by resisting tribal politics, being led by science and being inspired by what innovation can achieve.
Maiden speech, Ruth Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And it is a great honour to be able to make my maiden speech during this debate on climate change.